they all get that. They've all done all 11 tests.
So the first one doesn't matter.
So
Total.
um, the first group is Nora, James, Sam, and Isla. Nora, James, Sam, Isla. And then who? Isla? Eila, yeah. Second group. Second group is McGovern, Robert, Jack, and Sarah Carter. And the third group is Lila, V. I don't know how if V is VI or VE.
Lila.
Victoria. Lila, V, Foster, and Liam.
And Grossman.
Liam.
Liam.
That's group three. Group two, group one. And I guess they're going to go in that order. Check.
At least it works.
That works. And then I've got a question clarification on the spot. Have you done this before?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Long time.
long time ago.
You're rusty.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Should have watched a few Shark Tank episodes
I got
before I
something
came
for
here.
you. I've never watched.
You've never seen Shark Tank?
I think I have, but I never watched. But listen.
Check, check, check.
We're gonna make next year happen too. If these people make it great next year, their
Check,
future will be
check.
great the next year. It's gonna happen. Whatever happens, will happen. I want to drop this. But that's something that is just Northam is going to tell us more about. He's gonna tell us when we can.
everybody. Hi, Sharks. I'm Sam,
I'm James.
I'm Isla.
And I'm Nora.
and this is our Monument Avenue Promenade.
So, the history of Monument Avenue. Monument Avenue originally started as just a statue for Robert E. Lee in 1888 in honor of his death. Stewart and Davis were then added later in 1907, then Stonewall in 1919, Maury in 1929, and finally Arthur Ashe in 1996. This street has always been in support of the Confederacy and often made people of color uncomfortable because it seemed like the community still supported these people. This all boiled over during the Black Lives Matter movement of 2020, where all these statues except for Lee and Ashe were taken down. So our concept for Monument Avenue is to bring the life back into the street. We want Monument Avenue to be a place where children to elders can enjoy the beauty of the street and interact with others in the community. It should be an area where people can do activities that benefit the community, physically and in morale. Not only do we want to engage the community, but we also want flora and fauna to make a return to Monument Avenue. There are currently trees scattered in the medians, but we plan to increase this tenfold. Going back to nature is going back to the roots of Monument Avenue. And by doing this, we are taking out Confederate symbols and making it a safe space for all people. No one will feel scared or unwanted by outdated ideologies in this new Monument Avenue.
So this is a current map of Monument Avenue. The monuments stretch from Rosny to Lombardy, and the current order is Ashe, Maury, Jackson, Davis, Lee, and Stewart. We will be removing any of these remaining statues and stumps with the exception of Ashe. And this is what our new map will look like. So again, we'll be starting from Ashe, going to our chalkboard, mystery monument, pond, playground, and sculpture.
All right, within our space, there are 14 medians in between the streets, and many people enjoy walking, exercising, or even having a picnic within these spaces, so we don't plan to change too much. However, we will be adding in nature, like trees, such as service berries due to their low maintenance qualities, and flowers like African daisies and barrages. We will also be adding in 2 benches to each of the medians and adding in accessibility ramps so it's easily accessible for anyone who wants to enjoy the medians. Oh, and these are the
Okay, so with the first monument is the Arthur Ashe Monument. So a little history, Arthur Ashe was a very popular African-American tennis player who won 3 Grand Slams and was also a teacher from Richmond, Virginia. He is beloved by the people of the community, including all of us, and therefore we've decided not to change much to the statue besides at planting flowers around the base, specifically the ones that Sam mentioned in the medians.
So our first installment will be in the Belmont intersection, and it will be a curved chalkboard. So this is in these crossroads are in the museum district, so we're letting people put their own art into a space that already has some. It is, though during the Black Lives Matter protests, there was a lot of graffiti put onto the monuments, and so we still wanted to make sure people could express themselves and have the community value their opinion. And so the perk to it is that the chalk will wash away naturally with the rain when it comes. And so it will make a blank slate for people and new artists to come back and put their art in.
So the next intersection and monument is the one at Jackson. This base is the smallest of all of them, so it is not suitable for an interactive installation like some of our other ones. This is why we have decided to put in a new monument. However, we don't want to put in another monument that is offending a large portion of the Richmond community, so we have decided to open up a vote to let the citizens of Richmond vote on who or what they want to honor here. We have set aside $500,000 to pay for this new monument.
At the former Davis spot, a pond and bridge is going to be installed. The pond is going to take up the majority of the monument, and the bridge will be going 4 feet above the pond in order to avoid any possible accidents from occurring. This is one of the main places where we're trying to bring in nature and aquatic plants such as water irises, mosquito ferns, and lilies. So removing the stump is going to cost a majority of our budget, but the final product is definitely going to be worth it. And on the bridge, there's going to be a wooden arc in case of any handicapped persons trying to cross.
So taking the 847 square foot spot of former Robert E. Lee, or General Robert E. Lee's monument, will be a playground. So it will have all the classic playground components such as like mulch and swings and slides and towers, and this will help get people out on Monument Avenue interacting together and with the space there.
Okay, so next is the former Jeb Stuart location. Here we are putting in a sculpture of Virginia state tree, the dogwood. A living tree would not be very practical since dogwoods can be very unpredictable in how they grow and they do not live very long, which is why we decided to go with a sculpture instead. The sculpture will have terracotta planters within its branches and will be filled with small flowers like forget-me-nots and baby's breath. It will be refilled every year on the first day of spring to celebrate the start of a new season all about new beginnings, similar to the one on Monument Avenue and for the Richmond community as a whole.
So when you compile all of our installments, flowers, and the removal of all the pedestals, it comes out to $2,403,163 and some change, which is only about a fifth of our budget. But we have, with our remaining money, we will start by putting $2.5 million aside for upkeep. So that will be keeping the pond clean with fixing filters and lights, and warranty on installments, replanting flowers, and restocking the chalk. Then we still have, about $6 million left. So that is going to go to donating to charities such as the Disabled American Veterans Charity, museums such as the Civil War Museum, and other educational programs.
So overall, our mission is to turn Monument Avenue into a lush promenade in which the people of the neighborhood can enjoy. We will do this by adding in flowers, trees, a pond, and represent new beginnings and nature with the bronze tree statue. We hope that people will be able to express themselves through the chalkboard, and we will make it a child-friendly place through the playground. Some may say that it is more important to honor the history of Monument Avenue, but we believe that as a community, we should not look back on the past, but move forward as a whole. Dwelling on the past does not help the present, and our goal is to help the people here and now, for the present can impact the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much. Thank you very much for a great job. James, Isla, Sam, Nora, thank you. Wonderful. A quick question that I have. And Celeste, if you have questions, just raise your hand and we can see you on the screen, so just make it known to us. How confident are you, and share with us a little bit about your confidence in some of the figures that you have, the dollars. Like, tell us a little bit about your research of how you came to understand what it really would cost to do some of these things.
So we ended up contacting a lot of people. Like we went out and called some of the places like for water trucks and how much things would cost. And we did do quite a bit of research on different websites to see kind of a range. And so we're pretty sure like we're in a good range for that.
Yeah, thank you. You guys did a wonderful job. Couple questions. Are all these plants native of Virginia, and how did you come up with the plantings, and what is a barrage?
So I can take this one. So yes, all of the plants are native to Virginia, and they can be planted here. We did do some research on that. And as well as that, they are also all flowers that can grow in extreme conditions, like near roads. So that was like a big idea for us. We didn't want the flowers to die due to like road pollution or anything like that. And the barrages, I don't know if you saw on the flower slide, but they are pretty like medium height blue flowering plants.
Celeste, we can see that you have a question. Are we going to be able to hear her okay? Okay.
I do. Great job, everybody. Group one, that was really impressive. I really enjoyed your PowerPoint. I thought it was really well put together and had some great
also take this one. So one of the ways that we had the idea of pulling the people would be to go on social media, because we know that a lot of people in the community have social media. So we could create an account based all around Monument Avenue and pull the people of all social medias on what they think should happen. So we would get a ton of ideas, probably pick the ones that were most popular and have the community vote.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm McGovern. I'm a student here at St. Michael's. I'm Sarah Carter.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Jack.
Okay, so you've probably noticed that from our title that our renovated Monument Avenue will be named Walker Walkway. We chose this name because Robert Walker was one of the 4 students who planned the renovations to the avenue. He was also the one who wanted this new promenade to be somewhere you could feel a part of and where the community could gather. Walker Walkway just seems right, and it's short and sweet and rolls easily off the tongue. So some brief history of Monument Avenue. Monument Avenue was created back in 1890, back when Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis were the only monuments. Both monuments were surrounded by tobacco fields and 18th century Southern houses. The avenue wouldn't have any changes until 1909, when Jeb Stuart was built in Monument Avenue. In 1919, Richmond would later add a Stonewall Jackson monument on a cross-section of North Boulevard and Monument Avenue. In 1929, a monument of Matthew Fontaine Murray was added. For those who don't know, Matthew Fontaine Murray was a naval officer and an oceanographer from Virginia. He was nicknamed the Pathfinder, and it wouldn't be until 1996 when another monument would be added to Monument Avenue.
The Arthur Ashe Monument was put up in 1996. It was the first monument of a non-white male. Last year, the monuments received a lot of attention due to the controversy. Because of this, Richmond made the decision to take them down. Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis stayed up the longest before being removed in 2020. After this, we are removing any remains of all statues and moving them to the VMFA. Throughout this last year, Monument Avenue has gone through a lot. After COVID hitting and the statues coming down, we believe that we should change it even more. Walker Walkway should be a place for friends and family. It should be a place where the community can gather and have fun. This is why we have chosen the theme of a flower garden for the walkway. Our goal for the renovations is to make Walker Walkway become a place where the community can gather.
Because Monument Avenue has so much history, we believe it is important to respect and protect it. While our renovations do add significant change to the area, we made sure to keep from modernizing it too much. Our Civil War plaque that you will see later on will be accessible to all guests who would like to learn about Civil War soldiers. And while the statues are no longer a part of Walker Walkway, history will still be appreciated and observed. So right here we have our map, and at the top left we have our flower garden. Below that, we have picnic tables, and then in the median, we have a run-through fountain like at Stony Point where kids can run and get wet. And then below that, we have our electronic plaque, and that will have all the names of anyone who served in the Civil War and what they did. And then on the top right, we have a playground. Below that, we have 2 fountains that you can throw coins or pennies, and then below that, we have koi fish ponds. And then the black and yellow lines on each of the sections are walkways so you can safely cross and observe the monuments.
For section 1, we decided to do an open grassy area. The cost of this section will be $150,000 in total and $43.64 for weekly lawn care. The company we used was Lawn Starter, and the goal of this area is just a spot where kids can run around and play sports. Section 2 is picnic tables, which will cost $1,747.20. The company we used is Hayneedle, and each picnic table can hold 4 to 6 children or 2 to 4 adults. The goal of this section is to take a break from the adventures of Walker Walkway, a spot where parents can take their children to feast on homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
On the way to Section 3, a run-through fountain like the one at Stony Point lies in the median of Walker Walkway. It is a great way for you to cool off on a hot summer day on the way to the next section. Section 3 itself of Walker Walkway is an electronic plaque that scrolls through the names of Civil War soldiers. Visitors will be able to look up at the names of Civil War soldiers in the database. The run-through fountain medians will have fences surrounding them so that the kids don't have to run in the road. And then run-through fountains will cost $5,500, and the electronic plaque in total will cost $33,000. We also got a graphic designer to design how the electronic plaque will scroll through the names, and that'll be $7,000. Section 4 of Walker Walkway will be a playground, and the length of the playground is 40 feet. It costs $20,000 in total, and the playground section of Walker Walkway is arguably the most attractive. What is there not to like? A swing set, monkey bars, a seesaw, and a sandbox. You also don't have to worry about the cars going by because there's a fence surrounding the entire section.
Section 5 is 2 large fountains. The cost is $10,998. We're using Outdoor Fountain Pros to install the fountains. Our goal for Section 5 of Walker Walkway is to enjoy the great view of Walker Walkway. You can make a wish by throwing a coin in the pond or look at the creative patterns of the water. The koi fish pond will be Section 6. It's $2,630. Our company is Next Day Koi. We believe that Section 6 of Walker Walkway is a great way to end off your Walker Walkway experience. See the fish, pick out a flower to take home, and is a great spot for a romantic first kiss. If you don't want to go there, it's still a great spot for holding hands.
So each section of Walker Walkway will have a perimeter lined with flowers, perennial flowers such as hibiscus, coneflowers, peonies, and so much more. The flowers will be planted strategically along each area about a foot or so in front of the fences. Just like the koi fish pond, staff will look after and attend the flowers to make sure they stay in good condition. The cost will be $19,980, and we'll use stranges.com as our florist company. So there are 2 crosswalks per section of Walker Walkway, and this will make sure that people can safely cross a busy roundabout without getting hit by a car. And the cost will be $5,200. The construction will be $3,000, and we'll use gilbainco.com as our company.
The extra cost we have is fencing around all the sections, which will cost about $1,884,000, and the company we used was Iron Fence Shop. For all the plumbing, we used Next Day Koi, and the total cost of that was $19,050. The total cost of our renovations is $1,326,980.20 out of our $11 million budget.
Here's our budget breakdown. Section 1 is an open field that's going to cost $150,000. Section 2 is picnic tables. That is going to be $1,747.20. Section 3 is the run-through fountains with the electronic plaque. That will cost $38,500. Section 4 is the playground. That's going to cost $20,000. Section 5 is the 2 large fountains. That's going to cost $10,998. Section 6 is a koi fish pond. That's going to cost $2,630. Fencing is going to cost $1,084,055, and that's because we have fencing around the perimeter of the entire Walker Walkway. We have crosswalks. That's going to cost $8,200. We have plumbing. That's going to cost $9,050, and our total cost is it's $1,084,037, I think, and 20 cents. So around there.
Since we used $1,326,980.20 out of our $11 million budget, you might be wondering what we will do with the remaining money. We have decided to use it for the future of Walker Walkway. We will be spending it on lawn care, staff and security, equipment problems, plumbing, any disasters that could affect the attractions of Walker Walkway, and other payments we might make in the future.
We believe that our renovations, Walker Walkway, will be a beautiful promenade that attracts many visitors each year. Our design will bring in not only people from Richmond, but also people who are passing through Virginia. Walker Walkway will add the value of unity as Richmond as a whole. The delicate scenery, such as our flowers featured along the promenade, will enhance the beauty of the city and be an excellent space for photography and creative art forms. Not only that, but we only used 1/11 of our budget, which leaves a huge leeway for us to pay for staff to help upkeep our avenue. This reinforces that Walker Walkway will stay in amazing condition as time goes on. Also, the extra money will help kickstart other creative projects happening in the Richmond area. Walker Walkway is the ideal renovation choice because it's also a great place for people to host events like live music, school youth groups, and study areas. Also, due to the flowers and exhibits such as the koi pond, Walker Walkway could be a great social media marketing tool. It's a breathtaking background, could be an amazing spot for people to take photos and people to make video ads for products or events. This would interest people even more in stopping by to spend some more time on Walker Avenue. Walker Walkway is in no way trying to put a Band-Aid over what was previously on Monument Avenue. By taking down the statues, we are creating an interactive and fun environment for people of all ages to stop by and walk around. Our idea is to fix and build off problems that came with the space before it.
Last year, Virginia decided to bring the monuments down. We have created Walker Walkway as a place where you can have fond childhood memories of feeding the koi fish, meeting new people, and playing on the playground. Walker Walkway is a space that allows us to bring the community together instead of dividing it in half like the past monuments.
Thank you all very much. That was very good. You put obviously a lot of thought into that. Can you tell me what was the most challenging part about creating this presentation?
I can take this, I guess. So when we decided to add the koi pond, we didn't realize how much plumbing and drain systems we would need. So after we figured out that we would need that, we had to call a lot of places and reach out to a lot of companies to not only get the cost, but also see what was the best way to install these drain systems to prevent flooding and to help the safety of the koi fish. So I'd say that was probably the most difficult part of the presentation.
Celeste, do you have any questions for the group?
I do. Thank you so much, everyone. That was really well done. And again, the PowerPoint was great, really good visuals. I'm intrigued by the choice to move the Arthur Ashe sculpture to BMFA and wondering where you envision that being, if you have any thoughts. Do you see that going in the sculpture garden or at the entrance inside? Just interested.
So I can take that question, and we imagine it'd be near the entrance, like you said.
Thank you.
All right, well, we congratulate the four of you. We really appreciate your hard work that you put into this project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Monument Avenue and the statues with it have undoubtedly developed a bad connotation over the recent years. It was originally just a field until 1890, during the Richmond Tobacco Festival, when the first and arguably most controversial monument was built, of the General of the Confederate Army, Robert E. Lee. As the years went on, 5 other monuments were built, the most recent being that of Arthur Ashe on July 10, 1996. After the death of George Floyd on May 25, 2020, police brutality towards people of color began to gain mass exposure, and riots and protests ensued nationwide. Monument Avenue specifically received a high concentration of these, and this is due to several of its monuments seeming to idolize several people in support or who practiced slavery, including Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and others. After the rapid rise of Black Lives Matter protests, all monuments, excluding that of Arthur Ashe, have been taken down. While many rejoiced at this, it left a once lively public space relatively bare. That's where we come in. I'm Liam O'Neill.
I'm Foster Stockton.
I'm V. Updike.
And I'm Lila Clarkson. And we believe that maintaining historical context in our improved version of Monument Avenue is essential in order to prevent parallel future situations from occurring.
However, it is also important to distinguish monuments that are idolized versus history being recalled.
In our project, we believe that we have found a way to maintain historical context while also providing a space for all of Richmond to enjoy. The following presentation will show and describe our ideas to improve the Richmond Promenade. Now, before we start, let me ask you a question. Can you imagine a community-friendly, all-inclusive space that doubles as somewhere to relax, listen to music, experience plays, and even address social issues? This is the type of space that we hope to create. The new and improved Monument Avenue will become a safe, inclusive, and fun space that every Richmond citizen can enjoy. Now, our concept and what we want to do. So when we were first assigned this project, it took us a while to come up with a good way to redesign Monument Avenue while still maintaining its past as a community space where people can gather and have fun. We finally decided that we would create a main performing space where people can hold concerts, school events, plays, readings, and much more in the same space as the former Robert E. Lee monument. Along with the resting space that has benches and a covered ceiling, our design plan also includes 2 flower gardens to make the space more colorful. The main idea was to keep it nice and simple, but make it a place where everyone can enjoy, reflect, and honor our community.
The previous map showed where each statue was and how they were placed. This was presented as controversial and created a lot of problems within our community. As we stated before, our new map will incorporate all of our ideas into a community space that will hopefully also resolve the current controversy surrounding Monument Avenue.
All right, so our redesign will include historical plaques that will regard the past of Monument Avenue and its statues. We got 2 gardens that volunteers and professionals will take care of throughout the year. One right there and one right there. We have a pavilion for the public, which is the big thing in the middle. And we have an extra sitting space near the pavilion to the left of it. Okay.
Monument Redesign 1, Historical Plaques. The historical plaques will be put in place of the former Murray Monument. We found that this was the best replacement for a few reasons. Number 1, being the first monument when walking to the traffic circle, more people will as a result stop to read the plaques. Along with this, the smaller size of the monument allows for a sole focus on just the plaques and not much else. Finally, the triangular shape of the monument allows for the stump to be recycled and plaques to be put on all 3 sides of it. The sides will describe Monument Avenue's past, starting from its creation up until now. On one plaque, we will talk about the creation of the monuments and their overall significance. During the 19th and 20th centuries, many monuments were built. This was important because on another, we will talk about Black Lives Matter and its effects. Black Lives Matter protests affected Monument Avenue, the general Richmond area, and the world by. The last plaque will describe the differences from previous to present-day Monument Avenue. Since the creation of the monuments, many things have changed. It will hone in on the most recent changes, talking about why we did it, and its overall significance to Richmond and Monument Avenue. Just to reiterate, here's the 3 topics, and to be clear, we are keeping the Murray stump.
Our second redesign will be a covered sitting space that will replace the Jefferson Davis Monument. We believe this will be a really practical use of this space and will be a great place for people to stop and rest, picnic, draw our work, and listen to performances. We will also include solar panels on top of the sitting area to use energy for lighting and outlets while still being environmentally friendly.
Okay, so our next redesign will be our third redesign, which is 2 community gardens that will stand at the former J.B. Stewart and Jackson monuments. We will start the gardens off by planting tulips and daisies, but after that, we will leave it up to a group vote of the community. Next, we will add flowers to plant around the pavilion and sitting space. This will make them look less bare and more lively. Now, we understand that watering the gardens, especially during the summer, can become a real hassle. That is why we plan to install a sprinkler system for the gardens, grass, and flowers around the pavilion and sitting space. We have timers to make sure our flowers stay nourished and on a set schedule. We felt these were a great way to involve the Richmond community while also making Monument Avenue more colorful. So this is our garden model, and this is just an example of what the flowers will look like. And as shown on the slides, these are our dimensions, and yeah.
All right, so the fourth and final component of our redesign is definitely the most important one. It will be a pavilion in place of the former Robert E. Lee statue in which readings, band performances, plays, and just pretty much any other community events can take place. And whenever no events are currently taking place, it will be a sitting area. And we currently don't have it on the model, but there will be benches around the edges of the pavilion. So, as shown here on the ceiling, there will be a cone-shaped ceiling that will act as a natural amplifier for acoustics. However, we will still keep a speaker system and a mic for small performances such as readings or school events. And our pavilion will also have a mural painted on the floor. It will be painted by David Brocky Murals, and it will cover the bottom of the it'll cover the bottom of the pavilion as well as the edge and the stairs. We thought this would be a really great and eye-catching addition, and it'll be super interesting and will hopefully draw a lot of attention to our biggest and most important aspect of Monument Avenue. We will also add solar panels on top of the ceiling so that we can get energy for lights, and we will also have an inverter to circulate the electricity around the pavilion. So here's the model of our pavilion, and it is the biggest factor of our redesign. And like in the sitting space, there will also be benches all around. Yeah.
Going back to the solar panels. After extensive research, we were able to find a very professional company, SunWatts. After looking at several of their offers, we took them up on the 35 kilowatt solar kit, which we plan to install on top of both the pavilion and sitting space. The 35 kilowatt solar kit consists of 100 solar panels, which will produce 3,000 to 4,000 kilowatt hours per month. For reference, a bigger house, which uses generally more AC than others, produces about 2,000 kilowatt hours per month. This will cost approximately $53,375 and will be responsible for powering not only the 14 LED poles, as shown, but also any speakers that might be needed. Along with this, there's a 30-year warranty, and the solar panels can all be accessed through your computer. While yes, the rather expensive price of the solar panels is important to note, it is also important to note that we need to combat the ever-rising greenhouse gas emissions, and any contribution would be great. Through our usage of solar panels, we hope that we may even be able to inspire other companies to use solar panels, creating something like a snowball effect.
We are planning to keep Arthur Ashe as the only monument left on our improved version of Monument Avenue for a few reasons. The most obvious being that Arthur Ashe was an amazing person and still is an amazing role model. And we would never want to group him in with the other monuments being taken down that were just inherently racist and had a very negative impact on our community. We would also like to keep it because we still want Monument Avenue to have monuments. Even if it's just the Arthur Ashe Monument for a while, we hope that one day we can put up more monuments of great leaders or that symbolize important things.
Okay, so next is our performances and events. So we plan on holding these events and performances in our pavilion, and we will have yearly festivals for holidays and any other performances by charities. And we will also be working with Richmond Peace Education Center and Richmond for All to host events that would raise money for those charities. We will be selling tickets to raise funding and advertisement. We will be posting flyers around Monument Avenue. We will also be putting up a couple of commercial signs in each area of Monument Avenue. It will provide information of what the event is for, where it is located, the time, and extra details if necessary. Now, in order to host these events, we realized that it would be chaotic by cars rolling by and pedestrians needing to cross, so we have come up with a plan. We will come to a decision that 30 minutes before the event begins, we will close the roads and keep them closed up until 30 minutes after the event has ended. This gives time for people to leave without a rush and being able to leave without any commotion. Now, when you first arrive at the event, we will ask you to park on neighboring streets or, if necessary, VCU parking. It is not that far and wouldn't be a long commute. We realize that the City and Neighborhood Association will need to be informed, so we have reached out to them. Our justification is the multiple other festivals and events such as the Easter Parade and the Monument Avenue 10K that has been held for over 20 years each. While these exceeded noise limits, they were a very impactful experience for many. The regular holdings of these events will hopefully mean that new events held by us will not be seen as a shock or unusual.
Okay, execution. Our first course of action in our execution plan will be to inform our community of any changes being made. Volunteer spots will be opened up, and while it may be best to leave it to the professionals, volunteers will hopefully be able to clean Monument Avenue and the space around it. For a very general time estimate, which may vary greatly due to approval for building, COVID-19, etc., 1.5 to 2 years is the estimate. After construction is finished, we will open up more volunteer spots, and this time volunteers will be able to aid in the planting of flowers. After construction is finished, the pavilion, sitting spaces, and gardens will be ready to be enjoyed.
Okay, so before I list out our itemized list, just to say that our construction and all of our companies and all the things are provided on the slides. So first would be $720 for the cast iron signs, which is from Historical Signs. And we are preparing to use $400 to get white paint, which is 7 gallons, which is from Home Depot, and $200 to $300 for roughly 2 beds worth of flowers, which is from Sneed's, and $65,000 for 91 tons of sandstone, which is for the pavilion. And for construction, we'll need about $1,256,212 to be composed by RVA Construction. And the mural will cost $7,000, which stated by Foster would be by David Brokey Murals and RVA. And the sprinkler systems will cost about $6,000, which is by RVA Irrigation. And the 14 light poles will cost about $1,680, which is by Capital Electric. And the solar panels will cost about $53,375. And we will keep an extra $500,000 for any mishaps with the solar panels, such as any underperforming panel by Via SunWatts. Up to a 30-year warranty can be issued. And like I stated, in the event that we are issuing a salary to any construction workers for the estimated 2 years, it will cost about $1.2 million. And even if this is not the case, it is important to look at the money being spent forthcoming.
In the previous slide, we show all the materials and where we got them from. Added up, our cost for materials will be about $6,389,007. We will also save an extra $3 million to maintain the project and resolve any mishaps, such as vandalism or natural disasters. Then we will use the remaining $2 million to donate to 2 different local charities. The first one is Richmond for All, a charity based in Richmond for education, housing, environmental, and racial justices. The second one is Richmond Peace Education Center, a charity whose goal is to create a safe and inclusive community that embraces things like culture, class, religion, race, and gender and sexual identity.
Okay, just to reiterate, here are a couple of reasons why we believe our redesign would greatly improve Monument Avenue and restore our community.
Number 1, community interaction. By including things such as the sitting space, pavilion, and gardens, the Richmond community can have a space to relax, walk around, and be an audience to anyone performing on the pavilion.
And this brings us to number 2, the pavilion. The pavilion, as stated before, will act as both a performing and sitting space. However, the main way we'd like to see this pavilion used is to promote change and peace in general. By utilizing the fact that Monument Avenue is a densely populated space, speeches that promote goodwill will hopefully be heard by as many people as possible. Through various speeches and performance events, we hope that any voices in need can be heard and responded to.
And finally, aspect 3. Our project preserves history in a way that does not negatively affect anyone. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. In 1905, George Santayana, a poet, philosopher, and cultural critic, stated an extremely important fact when it comes to the spread of hatred. By including the plaques regarding the past statues in the pavilion for speeches and events, we hope that the past within Monument Avenue can be remembered in order to prevent a further reoccurrence of racism, xenophobia, and hatred in general.
While it is important to be sure no one is upset when talking about history, it is equally important to actually talk about history. When details of the acts we or as others as a society have committed and are not revealed, hatred continues to spread, and proof of that is especially prominent in countries such as the United States. Whether it's the hesitation to take down inherently racist monuments, or it's just casual comments made online or in person, the lingering effects of racism still persist today. And through our project, we hope we can take one further step in the prevention of this. Thank you.
All right, you two, you 4 also did a great job, so thank you very, very much. One quick question, and you may have covered this and I may have not quite heard all of it, but your concluding remarks made me go back to early in your presentation when you referenced a certain location that would represent the history of the avenue, right? You talked about how you wanted to preserve a message about the way it has existed until this point. Yes. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does, I can't remember if it was a plaque or a particular message, but what does that piece in that location on the avenue look like? Do you have thoughts about it, or did you actually?
We do have the right here. And like we said before, we put much value in distinguishing what is history and what is a thing being idolized. So with the monuments, the main problem was these people were an important part of history, but but the message was being spread in the wrong way. So we hope that through the plaques we can spread history in a way that does not cause controversy.
Thank you, Liam. Mr. Jackson? Celeste, do you have a question for Group 3?
I do. Great job. You know, Mr. Bridgeworth, I'm so impressed by all of these groups today. I mean, it's not an easy task to think about this. So I just want to congratulate everyone for doing such a great job. The Group 3, again, I mean, presentation looks awesome, and I really liked the way you sort of intersected the three ideas that you had about preserving history and involving community, and thinking about educating people about the space. I have more of kind of a question around your budget, thinking about that $3 million contingency that you had. Does that include staffing? I'm just thinking about from a programming aspect, the pavilion, which I really liked as an idea. Did you account for who's running that space and booking all of these groups and events?
To answer that question, yes. So when we were working on the budget, we were thinking about all of the costs that we were thinking about, the pavilion and the historical signs and everything that we were going to be using. So we were thinking about the sprinkler system, and yes, we did incorporate all the workers.
Okay, great. And then just kind of wondering too, the two organizations that you named to donate funds to, how did you choose those two? What kind of spoke to you, and how would they relate to what you're trying to achieve on your redesign?
Well, we really wanted, since Monument Avenue was kind of like a lot of people perceived it as racist or like hateful. So we really wanted to give back to those people who were being affected by the monuments and try and create safer communities.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, Group 3, thanks very much and congratulations.